Guys, they're really going for the moon. It's hot. This is very strong. What's going on? In today's movie, it goes from being bullish to not being bullish to, I don't know. I mean, these people are high on something. It looks like they want to moon every type of asset out there before it all falls apart. It's not a drill. It's not a joke. Pay attention to what's going on. And listen to this. Inflation drops to 2.3%, less than expected, which is different from what you saw in ACS. That's crazy. Actually, inflation is going down, and I didn't even know that today, right? I didn't know what was going on until I saw this, guys. I'm thinking, wait a minute, inflation is going down, which is a nice treat. Okay, this is a big sign that the Federal Reserve might finally lower interest rates without a black swan event. Guys, seeing prices go down would be the craziest thing I've ever seen. You know, when the Fed cuts rates, the market gets too optimistic, and then everything just goes through the roof, from their Bitcoin of about 500,000 to some crazy number like 50 million to 60,000. Dow Jones S&P is making everything go through the roof, guys. XRP's probably worth $50.00 to $100.00 right now on Ethereum, so that's crazy. Guys, I didn't think this would happen, but the Fed needs to act soon. Yes, since time is running out now. Once more, this is very strong, very optimistic. That's why I think the stock market is going up right now. This news is also making its way into coins, especially Ethereum, but it comes from Zero Hedge. Look at this, and this, guys. I don't know what to say if this doesn't get you excited, man. Black Swan event is the only thing that could stop all of this, by the way. Another thing that makes something a black swan is that it's hard to predict. It's impossible to guess. And all of this is to say that JP Morgan drops a recession call after a China peace call. Again, what is this wave of optimism that's coming out of nowhere? Insiders at JP Morgan Jason Co raised their prediction for a naysays economic growth after a temporary trade deal between the naysays and China. They had earlier said that the world's largest economy would go into a slump in 2025, but now they think it will grow fast. This comes from, let's see, JP Morgan lowering its odds of a recession as Trump makes a deal to lower taxes on China. Today, May 13th, 2025, took place. Not only is inflation going down, but people who work inside the system are now saying, we're calling for things to basically skyrocket instead of going into recession. JP Morgan is now changing his mind about what he said. It was 60% possible that the US would go into a recession in 2025. At that point, 60% is pretty much a sure thing, yes? Oh no? In a note released Tuesday, the bank talked about President Donald Trump's short-term deal lowering taxes on China while two trading partners work out a trade deal could bring down the chance of a recession to less than 50%, even though the risks are still high. Wow. So lowering taxes on China has done more than just help the stock market. Also, the chances of a recession going down a lot went down. That's interesting. That's interesting since we know that the S&P are going up right now. The S&P closed more than 20% higher than its April low, right? Technically starting a new bull market, and then it made up all of its losses of $20.00 to $25.00. Okay, that's the Dow Jones. Yes, we will talk about that soon. But first, for the S&P guys, take a look at this. All of its, delete the whole dump, right? It looked like a V-shaped repair. Keep in mind that this is the stock market. If this goes up, cryptocurrencies will follow. Then we got the Dow Jones. So the Dow Jones is at a very important point right now. The Dow Jones is at a very important point right now, guys. The battle for a very important level is going on right now. At this point, where it's at now, it's about the same as XRP being worth about $2.75 to $2.80. You agree that this is a very strong resistance? The S&P needs to stay strong here on consultant and keep going through the roof, guys, and everything is going to moon right now. That's really strange. JP Morgan isn't the only bank or insider who wants things to get better. Other banks and insiders want things to really go through the roof. They want to get rid of the calls for a recession or lower the odds. Once more, this was all because of the trade deal with China. It's now more likely than not that there will be a recession later this year. Yes, in the end, anything could happen. But to be honest, it looks like they're saying, hey, maybe the economy is good after all, right? Quote, the recent easing of some of the toughest taxes on China by the Trump administration should make it less likely that the economy will go into recession this year. Head of JP Morgan. the economist at AC wrote in a note on Tuesday. Okay guys, take a look. Annual inflation, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, came in lower than expected on Tuesday at 2.3%. This caused the change in the estimate. Okay, then something happened that started a bull market. Why? Because everything is going up right now. Yes, they decided to let everyone into China. I think it will be great for China if they fully open up. I think it will be great for us, for peace and for unification, Trump said Monday at the White House. JP Morgan isn't sure if the economy will really grow as much as Trump thinks it will. But hold on, Trump is very bullish right now. That's the thing in my view. We actually call this our main theory, guys. Get very positive. So what's the deal with Trump? We think the same thing and you don't understand why. Trump is no longer as bullish as he used to be, right? Which, of course, we have been since the beginning of time. There may have been times when we called for black swans, and some of them came true, especially with the tariffs. But overall, the trend is up, and I'll explain why. First, let's talk about why this bull run will last until 2026. This was a prediction made a long time ago, and it says that 2026 is the year you should sell. This is financial advice that you can follow today, tomorrow, or any other time for years. Things have been good, prices have been high, and now is the time to sell stocks and values of all kinds, whatever seems important at that time, like a certain assets. That year is 2026, so I think if there aren't any recessions, black swans, or other bad things that could happen, really we're going to rise very hard until 2026.